So, hello Shapers, welcome to the Coffee with Curators. Our today's guest curator is from one of the city which is famous for its role as a center of international diplomacy, as it is the home to the large number of international organizations, including the headquarters of Red Cross, the WHO, WTO. It's my pleasure to welcome our one of the most talented curator of Global Shapers community, the curator of Geneva Hub, AnaMaria Meshkurti. Welcome, AnaMaria.
Thank you.
So before starting our today's episode, I would like to thank AnaMaria and Geneva Hub for arranging a pre-ACM meetup for the curators in Geneva. It helped curators a lot to know each other, and we got a chance to meet some of the fabulous leaders of the community. One second.
Shout out to our volunteers as well. We had a lot of volunteers from the Geneva Hub as well. So it helped to connect the community. Hopefully in the coming years, we can do more. Oh, yes, I remember. Sure.
It was a very beautiful location.
Yeah, that was really fun. Oh, that's nice. You brought us some good memories.
Yeah. So let's move toward our next portion. So could you tell us about a bit about your professional background?
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from Albania, and I moved to the UK to study. I always wanted to study, filmmaking, believe it or not. So I wanted to go in the film industry. And I tried it for a little bit, and I didn't really succeed in it, I would say. So then I decided to move and study politics. This was something else that was in my plan, let's say. So I studied international relations for my bachelor, and afterwards I worked a little bit in a couple of NGOs in the UK. And as every, I would say, international relations graduate, everyone wants to work for the United Nations. So my eyes were always, at the UN, and it was either to go to New York or go to Geneva. And given Geneva is so close to London, I thought, why not to try it out and see what happens. So I moved to Geneva to work for the UN, and I started working for the ITU, which is the International Telecommunication Union. It's an agency of the United Nations that focuses on telecommunication and technology. And this is where I start, I would say, my journey in the UN. I worked there for a couple of months in the beginning as an intern, really trying to see how it was and then see if it's something for me. And then I moved to another agency, WIPO, which focuses on intellectual property, again, part of the UN family. And then I came back to the ITU, back to the job, let's say, that I was doing before. And I stayed in the ITU for almost 8 to 9 years, which is quite like a long time. But I moved a lot in the organization. So I worked in the beginning for a big event called Telecom World. And then I moved to the standardization sector, where I worked a lot on like financial inclusion and policy and regulatory issues. And then I moved to the operational department, so working a lot with the different groups, the study groups and focus groups on their workshops with the different communities, which was interested. I ran even an incubator program on standardization and tech with startups. And then I moved finally to my, let's say, last job at the ITU, which was with the European office, where I really worked with a lot of European countries in digital skills, in innovation, accessibility, and youth and gender. And then I left the UN because I thought it was quite a long time there, and it was time for a change. And they say it's like you have to stay maximum 10 years in a place. So I left a little bit before. And then I joined now the Swiss government, which we have a foundation, which is called the Geneva Foundation for Tech Innovation. And what we do is we invest and support startups that are based in Geneva or are moving to Geneva with their headquarters. And we really support them in coaching, mentoring, financially as well. We invest money, we give them office space, and we really create a community, that we can really help them foster their innovations and stay in Geneva and create more employment opportunities moving forward. And there I manage the marketing and communications department, and I work also with a lot of partners to engage with them, to really come and see Geneva as the next place to be, let's say, for companies. So this, I would say, is a little bit in a nutshell my journey.
So Geneva Hub has one of the best team of shapers in the world. Could you tell us about projects and initiatives of Geneva Hub and their impact areas?
Yes, so Geneva Hub is a great hub. I mean, when I started as a shaper, I have to say my journey was quite interesting because the first time that I applied, I couldn't make it to the recruitment day. So I actually didn't get in. So I was very sad, of course. But they said, we will keep you for the next one. So we'll let you know. And then for the next application round, I managed to actually go to the recruitment day. And then here I am, being part of the community. What's very interesting, I would say it's such a great community, as of course all the Shapers community in general is amazing. The Geneva Hub Shapers are very, very, passionate. They're very committed to the work. I mean, I always find it so interesting that such a volunteering group does so much. We always think as Shapers, in our daily life, in our work life, when we meet people, how can what we do benefit the Shapers community, not only in Geneva, but everywhere. So we always think of those, interconnections with other Shapers, other communities of the Shapers around the world. And I have to say that also when we recruit new members, and we just had recruitment last year in October, and now we have a group of new Shapers joining in, you can really feel the energy and the passion of everyone, trying to give back to the community, trying to be active. And also it's interesting to see a lot of issues that are in Geneva that people might not think about, right? So one of our projects, for example, was cooking with the homeless, and people would ask us, are there homeless people in Geneva? Like, so yes, there are. But it's quite interesting how, sometimes you think you're always doing things for, other places, and you don't know that in your own community, there's a lot of issues happening that you can address yourself. What we're focusing in this year, and this is something that we have brought past from the last year, and I was vice curator last year with Eugenie, who was the curator, an amazing job that she did, and taking over now. It's a lot of projects that we continued because we believe to continue really what worked well, and then add more things as the new Shapers come in. It's important not to have just completely all the projects there, and then when new Shapers come in, they don't have the space to create their own projects and what they're passionate about. So we really like to open the space. We're also focusing a lot on the SDGs as well, apart from the impact areas. So we try to touch upon all the areas, but we really try to see also the connections with the SDGs, given that their goal is to be reached by 2030, and we know it's going to be a little bit difficult, but we try to really give our impact like that directly or indirectly, through what we can do. We have a lot of projects around food. Actually, food is quite a big area for the hub in Geneva. We have a lot of Shapers that worked in the food industry, are passionate about the slow food movement, about how we can, as I mentioned, the cooking with the homeless, or how can we look at food systems, and how can we ensure that we make our impact in them. So that's a big area. Another area is also the whole lake cleanup, so if I can call it like this. So we have a very passionate group of Shapers that are going out there and cleaning the lake of Geneva. And again, people are saying, why should you clean the lake? I'm sure it's clean. So it's not the lake itself, but it's on the shores of the lake. There's a lot of let's say not a lot of, maybe for some places, but quite a lot of waste. And we are also not only looking at what's there and how we can clean it, but also what is there that creates this waste. So, I always thought that the number one kind of waste out there was related to the cigarette butts. And this is quite true. But actually, there's a lot of, from the tires of cars, I learned from this lake cleanup project, there's a lot of waste, dirt from there that actually damages the lake. And that was something completely mind-blowing, right? So this is something that really started making me think totally different, and in the whole discussion of the mobility and so on. So we have a lot of things around this. We also do a lot of things with the community. So one of our Shapers started a very interesting collaboration with a local theater here that works with children. So we really wanted to bring topics like climate change and so on to the local community in a very easy way. So those are, I would say, things that are easy to do, require, of course, a lot of effort to be put in, but are things that are really impacting the community directly. And we work with a lot of organizations like that. And we have another very interesting project that supports, they are an incubator that supports people with migrant or refugee backgrounds to start their businesses. So we do a lot of mentoring and work with them, and we help them, get to the next level. So we really try to touch upon, I would say, all the impact areas. And because we have shapers that are so diverse and have so many different passions, and it's really a pleasure to be part of the hub, because of course, I see the curatorship role as really like a coordination role, but it's really the shapers, right, that come out there with their passions and ideas and make it to the next level. I'm just here together with the team to really like coordinate and make sure that they have all the tools that they need to actually make sure that their projects come to life. So I wouldn't single out one area in specifically.
So Geneva is the capital of global shapers community also because of the headquarters is in Geneva, at Geneva. So what is the best thing about Geneva as per your experience?
The best thing about Geneva, oh my God, that's so different. That's a difficult one. There's a lot of things about Geneva. I would say what you mentioned, the merge between, we have the UN agencies, we have the WEF, we have the ICRC, we have a lot of these international Gavi, a lot of international organizations and public-private partnership entities. And then you have the whole kind of banking sector, startup sector coming together. For me, what I found interesting was that when I worked for the UN, I didn't see this other side. So I didn't see, the private sector startup side. And now that I moved, I'm really like, wow, there is so much in this side. And this is the beauty. You can, merge everything. That's why a lot of startups also come to Geneva, because it's great to find very good talent. It's very good to also connect with, with all the sectors. If you're a startup that wants to do something good, but also you need to raise money, but also, right, you need to connect with the banks, family offices, everything is there. You can connect with the UN, you can connect with the banks. It's really at the heart of everything, at the heart of diplomacy, at the heart of banking, finance. So it's a great place to be. And it's not like so big. So it's not a huge city. Like I used to live in London, as I mentioned, and London is so big that sometimes you meet someone and then you never see them again. In Geneva, eventually, if you are interested in some areas, you see people in the same circles. It's very nice. You really feel like part of a community. It's very international, multinational, a lot of cultures. So you will never feel, alone in the sense that you will find always people from your country or people from your culture, people that understand you. And it's a very, very open place. And of course, you have cheese and chocolate, which is great. A lot of ski places nearby, so people love that. In the summer, you can go to the lake. So you have, I would say, everything. It's a great base, and it's in the center of Europe. So you can go anywhere else for vacationing and weekends. So it's a great place to be, I would say.
Amazing. So a lot of hubs in the world are facing problems in hub marketing. As the head of marketing, communication, and engagement for a leading company in Switzerland, can you provide some tips on hub marketing to help shapers improve the growth of their hubs?
Oh my God, hub marketing. I love that. I have to say, we have a very, very good communications group in the hub. So this is something that you must have, obviously. As a hub, you must dedicate one or more, hopefully more people in the communications part, because it's very important for those newcomers to the shapers community to really understand the core of the community and really see what it brings to them, but also what you can achieve through it. So before I joined myself, I was always looking for a group that was passionate about volunteering, about giving back. This is something that I was always passionate about, but it's very hard. And the older you get, I would say, the harder it gets. When you're in university, it's kind of easier because you have all those like clubs and societies, and you have a lot of time as well. So people are like, yes, let's do this, let's do that. But when you start working, as many of us know, you start kind of getting more focused on that. Then you have your family, etc. So you are kind of moving a little bit away from this, and it's great to find that community. And this is what I think the Shapers does so well. And it's also a great community not to let you down. As I say always, that the Shapers are always going to show up. That, if you make a project and you have the support of the Shapers, they will be there. Sometimes with friends, you will say, I want to do this, let's go clean the lake. And then you're there on a Sunday by yourself and nobody shows up because people, want to sleep or whatever. So that's very important, I would say, to note. Now, in terms of marketing, I would say it's very important to really showcase on socials and use socials that people now, the age is under 27 to join the community. So sometimes, you are looking at 18 to 27, and how do you reach the 18 years olds today? So you have to really look at those social media, I would say, channels that are being looked at, and don't be afraid to over post and overshare to really ensure that people are engaged. You do this also through the different partners that you work with. So if you're working with local partners, NGOs, anything that you do projects with, it's good to ensure that they also post what you're doing together, because a lot of people that might follow them or are interested in their work might then be interested in your community. It's a lot of also word of mouth, I would say. Many times I see people that I say, wow, this would be a perfect shaper, right? You have the shaper material, as we say. So I'm always trying to say, have a look, check out our community, and then when the recruitment time comes, please apply. So you do a lot of personal marketing, I would say, one-on-one marketing. And all the shapers, we always encourage them to look around in their communities and see in their work, in their other volunteerings or other associations they're part of, who could be a great shaper and who could be a great fit for the community, and encourage them to apply, and of course go through the process. But that's a good way. When we do events, for example, we were so lucky to go to Davos this year again, and we ensure that all the shapers are showcasing that, posting. Of course, being a shaper is not about going to Davos, but in the sense that if such an opportunity is brought to us, we want to make sure that everyone knows that this is thanks to the Global Shapers community, and thanks to the great support that we have done to this community throughout the years. Again, when shapers achieve something, we're always sharing this as well, so that you can see that the community is made of very cool members, people that you can learn from. And it's also I would say, for me, it's definitely a friends community. If I want to share something, I know that I can share it with my fellow shapers of the hub, and I can get really good insights from them, be it a professional challenge, a personal challenge. So really trying to pass what is happening in the hub, through our marketing, which is sometimes very difficult. And sometimes it's good to also open some of the projects, right? So for example, the lake cleanup was a great example. It's something that you don't have to be a shaper to participate, in the sense that, people from the local community can do that. And we really opened it up, and we had many non-shapers join, who were interested then to become, because they thought this is great, they had a great feeling. And I always say that the Shapers community, is as much for you to feel that you want to be part of it, as much as the hub, wants to welcome you, in the sense that when Shapers come to our recruitment, I always tell them, this is a day for you to really learn and see, can I be friends with these people, or do I want to hang out with them in the long run? Because that's how the community is, right? We are a group of friends first, who are doing impact in the local community, but we have to remember that we have those shared values and goals. And if you want to be part of this, you have to obviously have the same values and goals. And then a lot of our shapers, you are a different person, but in the end of the day, the values of the shapers of respecting each other and inclusion, etc., are there. So I would say, go crazy on the socials. That's my advice. Talk as much as you can about the community, and really open up some of your projects to others that are non-shapers. Sometimes we have amazing people that unfortunately past the age of becoming shapers. So those are good ways for them to stay engaged and doing good. In the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a shaper or not. If you have the willingness to do good, we have to open up many of our projects, if possible, to others as well. So that's, I would say, the best ways to market the community.
A lot of insights. So as you mentioned earlier, you are working in one of the leading startup incubator company. So as per your experience, what are the most important skill essential for startup entrepreneurs, and what are some basic mistakes startup entrepreneurs make?
Wow, you are really loaded in the questions. So I would say most important skills, which I guess the two of them are kind of linked together. What we have seen, it's sometimes you have a great idea as an entrepreneur, but you shouldn't probably be the CEO, right? So a lot of people think like, because I invented something, I should also be the CEO of the company. It's okay, you can be the founder of a company, you can be the inventor, you can be, you know, the one that came up with it, but maybe you are not the right person to be the CEO, to run the operations, to manage people, to hire the right talent. And this is, I would say, one of the skills/mistakes, right? A lot of people say, no, I'm the CEO, co-founder, you know, everything of the company, and I want to run everything. That's fine in the beginning, maybe because you don't have also maybe the financials to hire someone else. But it's very important to really quickly recognize, and that's a good skill, you know, to quickly recognize what you can do, what you can bring. So let's say you're an amazing developer. Now you shouldn't, you know, you develop this product from scratch, you need more people. Maybe that's what you should do. You should keep leading. You should be the CTO, right? You should keep leading that side, and then find someone else that can do the operational, the managerial side. Managing people is really difficult. You know, managing operations is difficult. Starting a company, ensuring that all the admin and all those things are done, it's not something that all of us can do. So it's okay to say, you know, this is not for me. I'm going to keep leading the product part, and then someone else needs to lead that. So that, I would say, it's a good skill to have, to recognize quickly if you are the right person for the job, or if you have to have someone else, you know, come in and do that job for you. Secondly, listening. It's something that I think is just in general in life, really being able to be an active listener to your customers, to your investors, you know, to your stakeholders and to your team members. Of course, you are the creator of something, so you think, you know everything, and you know the best for the company. You have a vision, so sometimes you kind of don't listen to people, and you say, no, this is where I want to go. It has proven good and bad, right? Sometimes people give you advice saying this is not the right direction, but actually it is. For me, in the end, yes, you should do what you think is the best, because you have the vision, and perhaps no one knows where you want to go. But it's very important to actively listen and to take into account, especially, you know, your customers. They are the final product, let's say, the final stakeholders. So it's very important to listen to what your customers have to say, and also what your investors have to say. These are people with a vested interest, so they want this company to succeed. So it's important for you to, you know, ensure that you take note of what they have to say and implement it or not. Like that saying says, right? Listen to everyone and do as you want. I believe in it, but I believe really that we need to listen more. And this is also for myself as well. We always have to pay more attention to what people tell us, and people who we obviously respect. And the last thing I would say, be agile. A lot of companies we have seen, you know, have a clear direction where they want to go, but sometimes the market fit is not there anymore. Sometimes you have things like COVID happen, and then maybe your business idea was great, but actually now it doesn't fit. But you have the opportunity to pivot, you have the opportunity to be agile and change. So again, do that, a skill as well as a risk, right? So someone has the skill to quickly change and see that market opportunity in advance, and others just do not have that. So this is something to develop, just like as it is for professional you know, life as well. Really find when the right timing is coming, just make that shift. And it can be difficult, it can be, you know, it needs a lot of courage for entrepreneurs to say, you know, I worked on this for X amount of years, it's a great idea, but actually we need to change it. But it's not a failure. And in the end of the day, you know, what is failure really? Like, changing is the right thing to do, and not looking at it as a failure, but really, okay, this didn't work, I'm moving on to something else. So this, I would say, are like the three things that I would touch upon that could touch both skills and risks, let's say. Because today there is, you know, opportunity out there, there is financing out there. Of course, it depends where you are based, and the opportunities differ. Of course, entrepreneurs maybe based in my home country are not having the same opportunity as in Switzerland, but still things are there, and thanks to, you know, the technologies, you can reach out and you can apply for a lot of things. So really being able to adapt and to listen to what others have to say, it's key, I would say, to succeeding moving forward.
Fabulous. Thank you for being an amazing guest, AnaMaria, and for sharing your valuable knowledge and experience with Shapers today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure, and I'm a big fan of this series. So thanks for having me. I look forward to the next one to learn more myself.